Hey guys, this is the seed that I got from Thatcher 85. This is Mancan buckwheat, but it's August 24th. It's a little bit late in the season. From what I read, it's a little too late to be planting this, but I have a feeling it's going to make it. So I'm going to go ahead and plant it where my corn used to be. I've already planted it. And just in case you're wondering, I looked all over the internet and I couldn't find a lot of information on this plant. But to plant it, you want your rows to be 6 inches apart and you plant it 1 inch deep. And I spaced my seeds about 4 to 6 inches apart. So we'll just let it go and see how it does. If anything, it'll be fertilizer for the next season and pollen for the bees. Now, I'm not big into the history of these plants and stuff. If you want to learn about the history and such of a plant, you know, check out Thatcher's channel, because a lot of his videos he does kind of talk about the ancient history of these plants. But I did find some information, and supposedly this plant was grown by both George Washington and Thomas Jefferson. They used it as a, well, they probably used it as a food source, but they also used it as a ground cover and as a green manure, because what this buckwheat is good for is planting. You plant it real thick because it likes to grow thick, and it keeps all the weeds from growing up. It adds fertilizer to the soil, and it keeps all those other weeds from growing. Plus it does something to the soil to loosen it up and stuff too. It's supposed to be a really good plant for amending the soil and for putting nutrients back into the soil. It's the main reason I'm planting this, is to put something back in the earth, because I took so much out of it growing that corn and stuff. I want to put something back in, so whoever gets this spot next year, hopefully they will have better luck than I did, because the person that had this plot before me, all they put in the ground was chemicals and poison, and it took a lot to get this ground worked back into condition. But I can tell you right now that this section of ground, even though all this corn was planted in here and I harvested it, because I worked all that grass in early in the season, this soil is much looser now. It's a lot easier to work, and it holds moisture a lot better, and it doesn't clump up as much as it did early in the season. So I think it's good that you know, even if you don't plan on using it, to put something back if you're taking something away. Now, another thing I found out about this buckwheat is the bees love it. And even though it's August 24th and it may not have a chance to mature and get a lot of edible seeds on it, this plant is supposed to flower within 3 weeks of you planting it. So that's plenty of time. I still have plenty of time to get this plant growing up high enough to produce flowers and give those bees some pollen so that they can make honey to store for the winter. So that's going to benefit the bees, and that way next year anybody that plants anywhere in this whole community garden is going to benefit from this, because those bees will be better off. They'll have more honey to last them through the winter, so that means there'll be more bees next year to go around and pollinate all our vegetables. Some people grow this buckwheat specifically for bees to make honey. Thanks for watching, and thanks for all the comments and support.